Hello and welcome to the Dead End ChatRoom. I'm your host Banish Kapil, and joining us today is a very mysterious guest all the way from Karachi. Please welcome everyone's favorite haram oinker, Swineryy.
Hi guys. Hi everyone.
So before we get down to serious business, how's the pandemic been for you and the rest of the Swineryy menagerie?
I feel bad saying that it's been super tough because I know how bad it's been for so many people. But I can't say it's been super easy. I feel like for people like me, whereas isolation can be like really comfortable, I think what kept me going out into the world and having experiences really helps you be creative and things like that. And it kind of really pushed me into this like I'm just trapped within these walls sort of thing. So I think it was like a mix for me. I think it was like I really don't mind things like being on my own and isolating, but then you can really, the experiences that help you be creative and things like that. But otherwise, I don't, want to complain about it too much. It's been good and bad, I would say.
And has it given you, well, you said you're having some challenges creatively, but has it given you time to maybe flesh out the Swineryy sort of universe a bit more?
Yeah, it was all post COVID that I think I brought out some new characters. Yeah, definitely. So I think it has for sure. And I think before COVID, I was a bit like busier. So maybe I wouldn't have, put so much thought into some of the things that the characters are doing. But I would say maybe it's been good for Swineryy and just okay for me.
So we've spoken about this before, but you started doing these animoji bits to make your friends laugh. Looking back now, how do you feel about it becoming this internet sensation where you've got over 200,000 followers now?
It feels, like with all these things generally, even when the first time I ever did, ever tried stand up, it was something that I was thinking about for so long because I was I would watch stand up all the time and I was friends with comics and things like that. But until I did it, I never, only in hindsight was I like, oh my God, I've always wanted to do this. And I never understood, the jokes I would make and they would actually turn into something I would be doing on stage, for example. And similarly, I felt like, it was, I was at work and I felt like, I didn't, I liked my job, but it wasn't what I wanted to do, obviously. And then I felt like when you don't have an outlet and you're not acting, for example, and you're not, doing comedy otherwise, it comes out in different ways. And I feel like now looking back on it, I'm like, oh my God, all these characters that I was doing at work for, my friends and things, it just feels really trippy, man, that, like seeing it on like an app where people are following me and things like that, where I was just, kind of messing around essentially. But it turned into something and that's cool, I guess.
So, are you still doing stand up, and what is the sort of comedy scene like in Pakistan? Because I know we used to have the comedians on TV that we
Right.
used to see in India as well, but I don't really know how it works.
I feel too guilty and I basically can't call myself a stand-up comedian anymore, at least because I started doing it and then I guess I just did a handful of gigs in Pakistan. And then I had a trip to the US where I got to do a lot of stand-up and that was cool. But it's been like 3 years with that, right? And I feel like to really say that you're a stand-up comedian or you have to be performing regularly or writing, regularly. And I don't do that. So in Pakistan, I know the scene is crazy in India where, you guys have a legit culture of like stand up now. And have had that for a while, right? But here it's like I think there was like a little boom and then it stopped, and I think COVID really messed it up. But before that, we don't really have comedy clubs yet because I feel like there aren't as many, like it's not as popular yet. But there are comedians who have been doing, open mics and things like that for a long time, and setting up your own gigs and kind of renting out a place and then doing it. That sort of scene has been there for a while. So that's great. That's it. I hope it grows because I feel like I'm like way too nervous to start again. I honestly, when I did it the first few times, I felt like that was like what I was meant to do and I really liked it. I hope it grows, and because the people here are really funny, dude. Like I think a lot of people are seriously funny over here, but we need the platforms.
One of the things we're seeing in India right now is comedy is kind of also become a major sort of battlefield in the culture war. And so in Pakistan as well, I'm pretty sure there are similar concerns. Is that also, I know we've spoken about this before, but is that also why you choose to remain anonymous with Swineryy?
I would say chose to stay anonymous. I think my reason was that, it started with the first big Animoji, right? Then there was the next character and the other characters. And then I just felt like my face kind of didn't belong there. Like my own personality I didn't really have space for that on a page. And I kind of just wanted it to be about the characters and their, little storylines and things like that. And I didn't feel like making it about me. That was the first reason. And I thought it was kind of fun for it to be anonymous as well. Just speaking as a literal like pig from Pakistan, for example, and not as just me, the comic. I thought that would make it like less interesting. Yeah, I mean that's the main reason. But of course, I think with the pig even or with Blue Maulvi Saab, I think certain things I don't want to, have to think about what I can say or not say. And I definitely think that if it was just my face saying those things, it would be taken differently, at least by some people, and that just ruins the fun of it, honestly.
So do you also get people asking if a particular character is based on them?
Yeah, I think that's on them, the person asking.
Yeah, the person asking, or asking whether there's a specific person they have in
I
mind.
think there are a lot of people who feel like some character is based on them, or they ask me like, oh, is this character, especially, especially if the fuckboy character is based on some guy that they know. And it's never like, none of them are based on any one person. I think it's like a general, and I don't want to stick to one person either, because they have storylines and they're going to do different things. But it's just like, dude, just the fact that this fuckboy exists in like every kind of society, I feel like, is just, shows that it's not one person. Like, you guys are everywhere. Like, so it's never one person.
A couple of years ago, Evan Naqvi made this Twitter thread exploring the connections between your different characters, and he came up with a possible genealogy chart as well. And you've told me before that all of your characters have these elaborate backstories in your head. So how off was Evan? Like, did he get it right?
I'll have to look at the chart again, but I do think he had some really interesting, like, funny crossovers happening in that, if I remember correctly. I think he was right about some of it. But you know what? The animal character, did he have? Yeah, he obviously had Miss in that with Leena Aunty, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
Abu
the
Koala as well.
that was the big like mystery of whether Leena Auntie's having an affair with Mrs. Dad. But okay, I'll just tell you. Basically, what I what I thought for Miss is that he thinks that there's something going on with his dad and his teacher, for example, right? But I feel like he's not actually in the class. Like, I feel like he's the pet. Like a class would have a class pet. So he's a class pet, and he thinks his dad is like the caretaker, the guy who takes care of him at school, right? And maybe him and Leena Aunty or whoever the teacher is having a thing, he thinks, because he's insecure as a pet about, where if he's getting ignored or if he's loved, etc. So yeah, the teacher isn't actually like fucking like a grown koala, but like it's like what he thinks is who he thinks is his dad. If that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, so
got a scoop.
so Emmer he was right about a lot of things. But that was really funny. I really enjoyed that.
So how does it feel when people invest, so much into these characters?
Dude, I remember when that Twitter thing happened, and that kind of like blew up, that Leena Aunty video with her talking about, potentially having a scene with Mrs. Dad. Dude, that felt really crazy. That's one of the moments where, like, I don't usually like, but that was one time where I felt like, okay, people are actually watching, and not just watching and then like scrolling past, that they're actually thinking about this, and it actually, putting some time into, these stories that I might be taking forward and things like that. So it felt really great.
You also did a little experiment where you asked your followers to share their secrets with you.
Yeah.
And I think things got very real very fast. So what is it about this relationship that you have with your followers that so many of them trusted you with such stuff?
I don't know. I feel like it's not me. It's, I think, with anybody that, first of all, I'm anonymous myself, right? So I feel like that definitely adds to the whole thing, where they're like, I probably don't know this person. Because I feel like if anybody in your circle was Swineryy, then at some point you would kind of know of the person or something. But I feel like these people genuinely think that I'm totally, unknown to them. And I think that creates some kind of safety on its own. And then I've I think that I've been kind of real with everyone generally, and I mean, I guess it's nice that they trust me. But yeah, I think it's just a combination of being real yourself and as real as you can be online, to be honest, and also just maybe not being cancelled in the past or something else. I don't, but probably just
How's the experience for you, that process of going through and sharing all of these different confessions, which I assume were like on a very big scale of seriousness and sin?
yeah. I mean, at the first time I did, I think I phrased the question differently each time. So I think the first time was like, okay, let's have like a little confessions, thing, and then the other time was like share your most embarrassing stories. So I think in that one I was like more funny than not. And then when it comes to the secrets, like I try to joke and laugh about the things that I can joke about or can be funny, but a lot of it is like honestly quite sad and even traumatic to read, and like it can be really triggering, and it just makes you think about all the things that we don't talk about, and all the like it's great. I know everyone just talks about this stuff and just says these words, but when you actually read like hundreds of answers about what someone is going through or what is happening with them, like they think it's a secret. It just makes you think about like how you meet, like how many people do you meet a day, man? Like if you have a normal like non-COVID day, you're meeting at least 5-10 people a day, right? Like just at work, blah blah blah. Like everyone is going through so much stuff, including yourself. I mean, I get like, I think after those sessions, I think I took 2 days off, just off Instagram stories, just being like, oh, I don't know if it's funny anymore. Like it's nice that they know it's like a non-judgy, safe space. But yeah, just, and all these people, the great thing is then all these same people who have been through so much are also just having a good time and laughing at the page and just enjoying stuff. So I guess it's just kind of nice in a way.
I was just saying, like, in terms, like, it's interesting how the type of confessions and secrets you get also differ a lot according to geography and culture, and therefore according to what people can talk about publicly and what they can't.
Right. Absolutely. I think a lot of the secrets from Pakistan were like sex related, which kind of makes sense because it's something people don't talk about at all, to be honest, and it just differs according to where
So last time we spoke, you mentioned that you were planning on taking these characters beyond just the Instagram and emoji videos, and look at other formats. So have you made any progress on that?
Yeah, so I finally made a YouTube channel, and which is something I hadn't done in ages. I'm like behind on everything ever in life, but I finally made one. And the plan is, first, I mean, I started with uploading just the videos that I have because I wanted them to be, in one place. But also the actual plan with that is that I have, or I'm in the process of hiring an animator, and then I want to make little, maybe like 2 to 4 minute like small little episodes where like it's the characters, but they also are interacting with each other and they have like little plots, and to good, because I feel like with this Animoji thing, like it's been great, but also it is like limiting, is like, to put it mildly, in the sense that I have nothing but like a floating head. Like even this right now, I don't even have that. You know what I mean? It's just a face that I usually have. So I have to do everything within that. And I feel like, now is the time to kind of expand that and the stories, and also the time limit with Animojis, right? Like I can only record 30 seconds, which is crazy. So yeah, hopefully I'll have some of those soon.
Will the copyright be a challenge in the sense these characters are based on these animations that are animojis?
I hope not, but I feel like the animations won't be like, for example, exactly like the Animojis, because I don't think that would be fun either. I would want them to be like little cartoony Peppa Pig types.
And so you've also been monetizing your Instagram. You've got merch. You make personalized videos, and you've got a Patreon. How's that working out? Is that like looking like it could be a significant revenue stream?
I was super disorganized with the merch. I got the merch made, and then I was like, oh, I don't have a website. I don't have any place to sell this fucking merch, right? So then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put a Google link, whatever, thing, and people can just fill out whatever they need. And then I thought I was gonna handle all of that, and it'll be just so easy. Like I'll just be shipping out merch, but it was so much work, and it was, what, just forget about it. And then I didn't even like advertise it, to be honest. I put up the link for merch like maybe twice, and then I got overwhelmed. But thankfully I had like a lot of orders. And then, so that was fine. Now I'm in the process of having an actual website where you can pre-order and order merch and all of that stuff. So I'm just like late with everything, but yeah, I have monetized. And then I've done a few like brand, like sponsored posts and things like that. So I'm monetized in that way. And with Patreon, it's been nice because I also don't advertise my Patreon too much because I feel so weirdly guilty about it. Because I feel like to tell people to subscribe to your Patreon, you have to be really on it and you have to be like, listen, you will get stuff that you won't see on Swineryy and you'll get it regularly. And in my head, that's kind of how you justify people spending money on you, right? And even though my friends are like, no, it's just for like a support thing and you can, put up behind the scenes, blah, blah, blah. But I just feel like until I get really regular with my posts there, I don't want to tell people to, subscribe. But I will get regular because the animated videos are also going to be on that. And then like extended ones and things like that. I don't know. I feel like I'm like half monetized. Like I'm like a disorganized monetized.
Your Patreon also hinted that you have a podcast in the works.
I'm going to have a podcast. The reason I don't have a podcast is because, a lot of people have asked me, but I also feel like either people are going to be offended by the things I have to say or the things that I do want to talk about. So at the same time, I feel like everyone has a podcast. Does the world really need my voice? So that's kind of what's keeping me. But I do want to start that as well. Which, by the way, I should now go and edit the Patreon bio that says I have a podcast because I don't.
Well, it says the beginnings of the podcast. You get to see the beginnings of the podcast.
I do. I guess I have the beginnings. I bought the mic.
All right. That's all the time we have. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful conversation.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.